Welcome to today's webinar, courtesy of the Kentucky Small Business Development Center right here in Louisville. We're all about hooking you up with free, super secret business coaching and training services. It doesn't matter if you're just dipping your toes in or gearing up for a big expansion. We've got the goods, the tools, and the know-how to help you win. To get the scoop, cruise on over to LouisvilleSmallBusiness.com or hit us up at 502-977-5800. Big thanks for tuning in to today's webinar. Feel free to drop your questions or chat it up with our speaker using the chat feature. Let's dive in.
Welcome, friends. Welcome to the Louisville Small Business Development Center's Toolkit Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Dave Etkin. I'm the director of the SBDC Center here in Louisville, Kentucky. And as everyone kind of comes in and gets settled, I'd like to take a few moments to share a little bit of info about the SBDC program. We provide here in Louisville and across the state no-cost professional expertise, tools, and information for all entrepreneurs, to start, fund, and grow their business. So please, if you have any needs, please reach out to us. If you'd like to learn more, you can visit KentuckySBDC.com for a lot of other resources. Or if you'd like to reach out to us directly, you can contact us up at sbdcinfo@uky.edu, or just give us a call at 1-888-977-5800, or you can just book a Zoom call with one of our business coaches here at LouisvilleSmallBusiness.com. And at the top, you'll see the Coach Connect tab, and just click on that. So as always, if you just to make sure you can hear us and see us well, if you look at the bottom of your screen, you'll see the toolbar. If you don't see one, just take your cursor and hover over that. It should pop up, and there you'll see the chat button. If you wouldn't mind just clicking on the chat feature there and say hello and where you're joining us from. It's always the best part of the webinar, that we get to see where everybody's popping in from. We get folks from all over the place, so if you just wouldn't mind doing that. Tell us your name and where you're joining from, and that everything's working well. Sometimes we do have some technical difficulties. So let's see who's out there today. Hopefully there's somebody out there today. There we go. There's Sarah. Hey, Sarah. Thanks for joining today. All right. Jarvis. Thank you, Jarvis, for joining. Hey, Bobby. Thanks for joining us. Kathy in Louisville. Kathy, I think we've met before. Your name looks familiar. Yeah, Tiffany Thomas. Hello, everyone. Yeah, Chris. Vaughn. Great to see everybody today. Thanks for taking time out of your busy Tuesday to join us. So just a quick reminder, as we'll send you guys a recording and the slides probably tomorrow sometime. I know it's really great to have these type of resources on hand where you can rewatch it when you want. We'll also load it up to our YouTube channel, so please check that. And then I'm going to ask you guys a favor. At the very end, you'll see our survey pop up. Please take a few moments just to give us some helpful feedback. I'd really appreciate that. So today, one of the fun things we're going to talk about today, we have our expert, Sara Hall, back again. And, one of the best, run businesses that you see are always ones that take the time out to understand their processes and put in systems in place. And it's kind of a process to do that. And most people, it's hard to take the time out of your day to do that when you're really busy, especially in the beginning when you're trying to get started. So, but it's so critical to have your processes mapped out and to create an SOP, a standard operating procedure, so you can teach and train others to run your business for you, or help you, grow your business. So you can get out of the day-to-day and really be strategic about your business. So the other thing that I've always noticed, and maybe I think Sarah, you hopefully will agree with me, is when you do this process, you always, when you're trying to map out a process to create a standard operating procedure, you always find ways to improve that process just by the mere fact of looking at it. So this is another great reason to do this. So I'm going to turn it over to Sarah. Sarah, great to see you today. I'm going to let you, give your little bit of background. I'm not going to steal all your thunder today, but Sarah's a great resource. I'm so happy that you came back to visit us today.
Well, thank you, Dave. It's great to be back. Thanks everybody for joining. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
Good thing.
All right. Can you see it?
Yep, looking good. Let's do it.
Perfect. All right. Yes, thank you again, Dave. Like SOPs are not fun. They're not sexy. There's nothing great about them, except they're needed. And they can be very simple, especially in a small business. I know they don't. I was just talking to Dave and Janet about when it's just you as a solopreneur, it feels like I don't really need these. But I'm going to kind of mention in here some reasons why it's good to kind of think about them and eventually utilize them. I myself, I don't have all my SOPs written out, so don't feel bad if you don't. I did when I was in corporate, I did do, excuse me, SOPs, and they made them complicated, overwhelming, and boring. And honestly, when did we ever look at them or use them? So I want to make it so that it's a process you don't hate, but also you keep it simple and it's something that you're like, oh, this is super easy. I'll make a video really quick. Boom, SOP. So I didn't really start enjoying them because I do it for my clients as well. But I didn't start enjoying them until I started my small business and just kind of simplify the process. Also, side note, if a tiny human comes in, we're recuperating from the stomach bug. So she may come say, I feel like I hear her now. So she may come join us. But starting with mastering our SOPs. Again, hi, I'm Sarah. I won't read this whole thing, but I'm from Louisville. I still live here with my family here in Louisville. Worked in corporate for 10 plus years and then took my OBM, online business manager, and virtual assistant business full time about 2 years ago. And I just help business owners kind of organize, which also includes SOPs, but organize their business. Oh, I told you she'd join us. Can I finish this and I'll come hang out with you? Okay. Okay, I'll come bring it. Can you head upstairs? I'll bring it to you. Sorry. So then we'll dive in now. I'll try not to overload you, but we'll also have a Q&A at the end. But in this presentation, this is information I've learned. Yes, I'll meet you upstairs in a few, okay? This is stuff I've learned throughout my business, but also from like coaching groups I've been a part of. So I've kind of taken all that information here and bringing it to you all to hopefully be able to use. So starting with what even is an SOP? Really boring definition, but it's a standard operating procedure. It's just a set of written instructions to properly perform a routine activity. So kind of the key here is a routine activity, something you're doing over and over. But you want to have this SOP so it remains consistent on what you're doing. But also if you want to then have a team member do it, anything like that. So why even an SOP? So why an SOP? It's for brand consistency so that you can reduce your risk and your errors, not only for you, but if you bring on that team, but also your customers know what to count on when they buy from you, when they're getting your services. So it's just kind of, again, keeping that consistency and keeping it what you want your brand to be. But you can scale your business. That doesn't always mean a team, like bringing on a team member, but just making it bigger, building onto what you've done, bringing in other parts of your business. To have that SOP and have that foundation is really good to have. Of course, when you bring on team members, it's really nice to just be like, here is everything you need. It's a resource you can come back to. And of course, you all would still be talking of how to do something, but it gives them something that every time they're doing it, they're like, okay, yep, I remember how to do this. Check this off the list. A big one is for an emergency. So of course, it's just me and my business right now. So if I then have an emergency, family emergency, and I need to bring in someone just to hold down the fort while I'm out, I've got, okay, these are what you need to focus on and how you do it. So that's kind of huge because of course you're never expecting an emergency. And then sometimes your brain just isn't going to work to be able to pop in and out as you need to. So to have that framework to always come back to is huge, especially as you get bigger. You may get overloaded with things and feel murky. It just feels murky if you've got so many processes in place. Just bring it back to the original. I need you to be quiet, okay? I know. But SOPs also provide organization and consistency in your business, but also your personal life, like this. Yes. So I use it not only, like I said, in business, but also personal life and I'll kind of have a list going as well, but just for your morning routine, school drop-offs, stuff like that. Of course, I don't write them down, but they're just good to have and just kind of always in my brain. Always a framework to build on, but also it's a brain dump. As a mom, a wife, just a person, there's a lot going on up here, but I forget a lot if it's just constant movement, going. So it's nice to have that brain dump to free up that mental space so I can then have the creativity and the time just to do what I enjoy, but also bring that into my business and into my life. So, like I said, some examples on business, onboarding clients, employees, offboarding, social media content, not only how to approach it, how to keep your voice, like if somebody else is doing it, but also how do you schedule it? What do you use? How does that work? And then email management. I do this a lot for clients. Okay, this is how we're going to organize it. These type of emails from clients need to go here. This is how we respond to them, customer service, but also out of office, how things need to be approached if you have someone covering for you, or just how you prep for it and for when you return. And then personal, like I said, morning routine, sick days, like this one, I've got her today. Maybe my husband has a sick kiddo on another day. How we're going to approach that, call the school, that kind of thing. So we're using SOPs, whether you want to acknowledge it or not, every day. So is there a correct way to create an SOP? Absolutely not. Like I said, it can be a really simple process. Just do what works best for you. There's people you can't see. So if video works best for you, just do that and stick with that. A lot of times I'll have clients video their processes, send them to me, and I will break it down for them. I'll create a checklist, make it pretty, easy to find. But all they have to do is give me the video and you go from there. But if you you're in your inbox one day, start a screen grab and record it, you've got an SOP, something to start with at least. So kind of the steps, these are steps I take. They're very simple towards just approaching how to create an SOP. I work best with video, but also checklist. So I always record a video. I'm talking through it, include all the details, even if it seems silly. I know it's a process you may be in every day, just like your email, but if you're bringing in somebody, they have no idea. So include all the details, even if it seems silly. If you're like, oh, everybody knows Gmail, just include it as well. Then from there, I'll create a checklist, and I have an example on another slide. Because I like to then take that checklist, and I'll do this with clients too on their process. I'll take that checklist, and each time I do it, I'm just clicking. Okay, I did all of those steps, I'm done. So make it comparative to the video. And then the most important is for you to review it, but also have someone outside your business review it as well. My husband hates technology. I love it. So I would have him review it and see if he understands it, if it makes sense to him. So he would test it out and give me feedback on it. And then finally, take that beautiful SOP and got to put it somewhere. You're going to all in one place. Place the link for a video, the documents into that platform, and keep it all in one place. don't have it just in like, oh, here's part in my email, here's part in Asana and Google Drive, have it all in one place so you know where to go to. Some platforms to use. I use Loom for all my videos. I'm hitting the video max, so I'm gonna have to start paying for it. But they do have a free version. It's a 5-minute max for videos. And then you can only house 25 videos. So like I said, I'm hitting max, so I'm gonna have to start paying for it, but it's not outrageous. You can also use Zoom, start a meeting, record it, use that video. You can either upload it, the actual video to your project management platform, or I tend to put them all into my Google Drive SOP folder. And then that link just goes into my Asana, and it's easy to see, come back to, and everybody has access to it. Then the text breakdown, Scribe is a really cool platform. And let me show you just an example. It's also a Chrome extension. So you would click that extension, go through your process, and it would then break it down for you. So let me show you real quick. How to copy a Google document. Super easy. I just did the process and it spells it out for me, right down to double click clients. Like that's the folder. And then you can edit it as you need to. This is like as if I had sent it to somebody, this is the view, but in the end, you can add, you can delete certain steps as needed, but it takes it all the way down to the end. And I think it's so pretty. So Scribe is a huge example of something that would make it super easy for you to write it out and boom, you're done. I actually just got an email that if you pay for Scribe, you can also upload videos or photos from your phone. So if you're like an in-person, like a brick and mortar business, you can use this. The example they used in the email was like setting up a coffee machine, but you can go through the process. You've got photos and it'll set it up for you. So kind of a cool resource as well. And then Google Workspace, of course. Like I said, that's what I tend to use is Google and Asana, my project management. And I just learned about this as well, the Save to Google Drive extension. It's just a Chrome extension, and you click it and it grabs that screen that you've got and takes it to your Google. Super useful for anything that you need to remember, whether it's an email, you are doing your SOPs, but I thought that was really cool. So I wanted to share that. So where to store SOPs? I keep mentioning Asana. As you'll see, this is my actual SOP for onboarding a client. Super easy. I've got my task here that's onboarding Loom link. You'll click it. The only thing in there is my link to Loom. They can watch the video whenever I bring on a team member, and then I click all of these tasks and I know, okay, they are onboarded. We're good to go. And that's it. It's not pretty, but it works for me. And it was easy for me to do because I'm just in the process and I enjoyed creating a checklist. ClickUp is another project management. It's very robust, but it's a great platform if that really works with you and how your brain works. You can set up a lot of automations as well. So I just use the free Asana, but ClickUp has a free option as well. The more you pay, the more kind of goodies you're going to get, which I'm sure you all know that. Notion and Airtable are two different platforms. They are very pretty. And I have used both of them. Notion for like my business coaching group that I'm in. It's very pretty. It houses everything you need. So if you want to learn some new platforms or hire someone to put them in there, they're very easy to read, to update, and it's really great to share with others. And I mean, it's just super easy. So I threw those on there. I don't use them, but doesn't mean that you won't love them. So the next few slides are just some tips I've learned. Because like I said, I enjoy doing SOPs, weirdly enough, but just what I've learned doing them for clients and what I've learned from my coaches. But of course, the most important is always to test your process. Does it make sense? Is it too much? have somebody test it. They can give you the feedback and also let you know if you need to kind of break off of that video and create some other videos as well. To go with that, stick with baseline knowledge. Don't get too complicated with just, okay, this is step one. Step two. In my videos, I have to make sure I'm very focused and, okay, this is what we're talking about. I'll do another video for something else. So that's where I kind of come back to that example. Okay, this SOP is for how to create my social media content. The next video is how to use Meta to schedule it and do all that. So if you show it to somebody, they have more questions, that's just something you kind of telling yourself, okay, I need to step it up a bit more if they aren't getting it. I need to create another video or talk to them about it. How would this be easier? And always, unfortunately, this is the hard part too, as a small business owner, to come back to something you've already done just is not always feasible, but to update that SOP in real time. Dave had mentioned at the beginning that sometimes when you do this, you see, oh, this isn't the most efficient way that I can use this or do this. So that's why I would say to review it quarterly or at least annually. So you can be like, okay, that's obsolete. I don't do it that way anymore. Or there's a better system. I've got a new platform. So just to review it so that then in the moment you're not having to do it. And if you need to, you can make it part of a CEO day for yourself, but also you can delegate it to a team member. Outsourcing is perfect. And then make sure to house all those SOPs in one location. I have all my videos, all my documents in Google, and then I link them to Asana. I just name the task in Asana, as you saw the video, video for how to onboarding video link, and then move from there. But make sure to keep it simple, short and concise. Oh, that's pretty. And then start with processes you do regularly so you don't overwhelm yourself. So we're all in our email and it's overwhelming. We're in that every day. And we're like, okay, well, let's start a video. This is how you organize this. This is how I put this here, how I respond to customer service inquiries. And just start there. And you already have an SOP, just a simple video, and that's it. And then you can build upon it as you need to, or take those videos, outsource them, and somebody else can build it for you. So just some examples of kind of where to start with SOPs: hiring, onboarding, offboarding, customer service, your email responses. That's where you can create those templates, those easy templates you can pop into your email for refunds, for any issues. Social media content, because you know that takes so much time, and then invoicing. And then from there, that's it. I hope I didn't overwhelm you. Thank you all for being here. And yeah, I'll stop sharing my screen so I can see any questions you might have.
Yeah, so let's see what we got here. That was great, Sarah. Do you generally map out your processes before you do an SOP? I mean, you mentioned about recording and things like that, but do you do like a process map to kind of explore, you know, look for improvements and things?
Honestly, I'll typically do, as you said, I will make the video and be like, why do I do it that way? Like, you know how sometimes you're just like, this is the only way I know. So, which is hard too, to like make that change, take that time. So yeah, I am totally that person that will record it. And usually it's when I show it to somebody else, they're like, why do you do it that way? And if I don't have a good reason for it, I'm like, oh, okay, well, I can make a change if I need to, or it just is what it is, because I don't have time to change it.
Mm-hmm.
So I wish I could say that I map it out and it's pretty, but it's definitely not.
Not what you do. That's okay. Let's see. So Diane, yes, there will be a replay. We'll shoot that out to everybody tomorrow, and then it'll be loaded up on our YouTube channel where you can watch time and time again. So, you mentioned some of the software that you use, and you've been using Asana for a long time. I mean, what made you go there as opposed to? I've been using Notion quite a bit, so sell me on Asana.
Oh, yeah. So my biggest thing in Asana is just it's very easy, very user friendly. So when I do share share that project with a client, it's super easy to then show them, okay, this is how you use it. Or make an SOP for them. This is what you should do. I haven't done that, but I love too that in Asana, you've got the different pages to look at. It's got my tasks that list out, okay, this is due today. This is overdue. That view is what sold me on Asana, because I used to be in Trello all the time. I loved Trello because it was pretty. And then I tried ClickUp, but it just seemed so clunky to me, but I probably wasn't utilizing it as I should. So Asana is super easy. I just use the free one, and I love that it just shows me my tasks. And then when I have a team, there's an inbox for any questions they might have. We can send messages there, but then also tag each other in each project. So that's of course, every project management will kind of have the same process, but yeah, so that's what always sold me on Asana was, okay, this is what you need to do today, Sarah.
Right. Yeah. So Sarah says, how do you recommend we approach SOPs when we're first starting out and refining our processes?
Great question, Sarah. Love your name.
That's so too.
So when you're first starting out, I kind of keeping it simple. Like I said, just start that video, and there's no wrong way to do it. Don't overanalyze it too much. Am I doing this right? Could I be doing this better? It's your process, and stick with it. So make that video and make it your own. And then just as you kind of refine your process and because of course you're overwhelmed so much when you're first starting out, that's the last thing on your mind is really streamlining. So that's where it'll come with, like, just coming back to it, revisiting and seeing how you can do it better. That's just going to come with experience, time, better platforms, and yeah, just coming in and making those little tweaks as you need to. But that's a lot easier too when starting out, when you have more time, in a sense, because you aren't over inundated with clients and stuff like that. You can really start creating it then, as I wish I had done. And then over time, it'll just get better and easier. And you've got this huge resource of SOPs that you've created. And some of them will be obsolete. Some of them will just get better as you continue to get better in your business.
Right. Right. So I guess, let's see. So I guess 2 questions here. So Joseph asks, how would you apply SOPs in the kitchen? And then I'm gonna pile on that one is like, how do you determine where to start?
Okay, so SOPs in the kitchen?
Like in a restaurant, yeah.
Okay, how would you kind of store them? I'm sorry, is that what
he says apply? So like if I mean, just I guess if you have a busy restaurant, I mean, there's sort of I don't know, just from my personal experience, you launch a restaurant, you have a chef and you have a team back there, you kind of develop the workflow. Now people start leaving, and now to your point, like training and onboarding, that's a key piece. But yeah, so I guess that I guess really what you're building in the kitchen is an operations manual, which is basically SOPs on everything.
Yeah. Which, of course, the hard part is, of course, when you're hiring and you hand them this huge handbook, and it's so hard for them to then just take in all that information. So it's great to have on paper and something for them to look back on. But I know too, that's going to be so hands-on for you in a kitchen, as a chef, as a team. I guess just the biggest thing for that would be making sure, coming back quarterly and being like, okay, team, are we doing as we should in the kitchen? Is our process, have we gotten a little lazy with it? Have we changed things? It's yours would be so hands-on and so much feedback based, because you've got a whole team there and you all are working off of each other. So yeah, I would definitely have that as, I mean, it could be virtual. You could have an actual handbook. Those are so hard because of course not many people are going to refer back to it, but at least you have something for your business that you're like, this is consistent, this is my brand. But then a lot of it's going to be feedback in person to person. So yeah, that one's a little hard, little different. So that's a good question though. It's a really good question.
Joseph, if you want to pop in and give us a little bit more information, we should drill down on a little bit. So back to my question. So I've got this business. I just watched this webinar. I think, oh, wow, Sarah really had some good stuff. I need to do that. How do I decide what process to tackle first? Where do you, what do you do?
I would honestly, because as I kept kind of repeating in there, it can just seem overwhelming. So I would start with your day-to-day process that is just that you're doing repetitively. That could be invoicing, that could be customer service, whether that's just messages within social media, email. There's ways to automate that within the platform, but also be able to get that down and be like, okay, templates for responses, that kind of as part of the SOP, that's huge and saves time on your part, on your team's part. But yeah, like if you are in your email every day, as most of us are, I would start there. Be like, okay, this is, especially if that's something you want to outsource because you hate it, you could start there. And just based upon your business, what is repetitive, daily or monthly tasks you don't like and possibly want to outsource, I would start there. That's why I always say onboarding new clients, maybe before you're doing employees, before you start that process, because you're going to be getting clients more than employees, you know, monthly, however much you would for your business. So that's where I would kind of start, just so it's not overwhelming.
Okay.
Just something you're repeating daily and you're like, oh man, okay, let me put this down, get it out of my head, where we house everything. And yeah, so that's kind of where I start.
Okay, here's another particular question. So let's say, so you know, I'm just going to pick on you personally. So you house your SOPs in Asana, or do you, what do you do with them?
I know I feel like I made that confusing in there, but I record videos, and that from Loom, I always use Loom. You get the link from Loom on that certain video, and I put that into Asana, and it always shows onboarding or Loom link. That's always on the start of my SOP, and then from there underneath is that checklist. I'll show you that screen again. But that's how I do everything. So, but if you're using Zoom with then you'll need somewhere to house your videos, those recordings. It's a free option. So then you can put it into Drive and then take that link and put it into Asana. So Drive will house any documents needed or anything like that, but all the links to those go into Asana so that when I bring on a team member, I can then connect them to that and share that project with them, and they know exactly where to go. This is on in Asana, I have a new client template. So this is on every client that I have. I've got what I'm working on, all that kind of stuff, but at the bottom it shows onboarding, and I've got all these, make sure they're checked off. I've got below this an offboarding SOP, so that whenever that time comes, I'm making sure I'm running through all that. That makes sense. Does that make sense?
Okay. Interesting. Do you, and this is basically your SOP?
Yep, this is it. It's pretty to me, but it's nothing crazy. And you can snazz it up as you like, but this is it. So I don't house it anywhere else. It's like I said, I have chosen to do all of mine in Asana. So
That's great, actually. That's a great idea. That is a great idea. Yeah, because I've seen SOPs that are pages of text
yes.
that would take hours to read and understand.
Yeah, and you're never going to come back to that or use it. So, and I use this every time. Like I said, I love video and I love checklists. That's how my brain works. So I use this every time and I don't have to think about it when I'm onboarding. I'm like, oh, did I send that email? Okay, yep, I did. And then because when you click this task, send the onboarding email, it has another checklist of make sure your onboarding link is in there, this document and this document. So takes it out of my brain because I have very limited space in there. So
yeah, that's a really good way to do that. Okay, you just blew my mind.
did I?
Yeah.
Excellent. It's my goal every time.
I'm an overcomplicator, I think.
That's okay. All of us can be. I overanalyze things a lot. So that's where I've kind of over time coming from corporate been like, okay, I needed to unlearn how they do SOPs and kind of create it and make it my own. So yeah, there's no wrong way to do it. And it can be very easy. So yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna have to check out Asana then, even though I'm a very happy Notion user.
I love Notion too. I really do. I have not moved to Notion because it's just another platform to learn. So I've used it for a lot of my courses, but I've never like dove into it, but it's very pretty and it's simple. It's very simple. So I would absolutely I would say to check that out too. That and Airtable. But honestly, Notion's is more simple.
Yeah,
than Airtable.
it's just a blank page in a way.
Yeah, yeah, right. Which can be intimidating. So yeah.
All right. So if anybody else has a quick question they'd like to ask Sarah while we have her here, put that in the chat. We'll get to that. So I think we should ask Sarah's question again. You know, when you're first starting out, again, you said this a couple of times, but I think we should say it again. So what's the first thing you do when you're first starting out?
It would be trying to think of anything to elaborate on that because I'm remembering what it was to start out and how overwhelming it was. It is. And what I could start with that. So like I said, your everything is very minimal at that point. Your platforms, what you're using, what you're doing. So I would just start with those. At that point, I didn't have any clients, or I had like maybe one. So how am I going to kind of approach networking? You know, even that's an SOP, especially once you move to that. Because I do that when I go to networking events. I'm like, okay, what do I need to do to follow up? Who do I need to reach out to? What do I need to say to them? How do I want to approach them? How do I want to collaborate with them? So even, I mean, technically that's kind of an SOP as well. So just anything you do on the daily for your business, starting out is what I would start with, just a simple video. Yeah, and helpful for end of month. I just saw your comment, Sarah. End of month processes, taxes, quarterly taxes. That stuff gets to be overwhelming, and just taxes alone, I'm like, okay, what do I need to remember to bring with me? Quarterly taxes, what do I need to fill out? Where do I send it? You know, so that's huge. And you don't really think about that, especially in the beginning, because that's a lot.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't see any other questions, and it's been great. I mean, you know, good information is one where there's not a lot of questions because it's very simple and very clear. So I think you did a great job today. This has been very helpful. And like I said, you just kind of gave me a head explosion there on some of these little things that you said. So I really appreciate that, Sarah.
Thank you so much. And thank you all for being here and reach out to me if you have any questions.
Yeah. Why don't you put your contact info back up on the screen there real quick?
Yeah.
Because
and then usually it'll be on the slides as well that they'll send out. You've got my email, messages on Instagram or Facebook. Just find me.
yeah, we'll send that out. I'll send out the slides too. So, well, thank you, Sarah. Thanks for joining today and helping us out with all this, sharing all this information. Janet, thanks for being here and taking care of all the back end stuff, everything you do.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Halloween?
Happy Halloween. This is Fred.
Oh, Janet. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining another Toolkit Tuesday, and we will see you next Tuesday for another one. So happy Halloween, everyone. Happy Halloween, Sarah. Happy Halloween, Janet.